Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing another Help Fix My Picture video, and this one is by David Wong. A little bit about Help Fix My Picture. This is an excellent way for everybody to learn. When you're looking at somebody's picture without the perspective of it being your own, you can see little mistakes or ways of changing the picture that would make it better. Then you go back to do your own picture and you learn. You remember that, oh, this person did it this way and I saw something, and then you do that. So it is one of the best ways for any student to learn art. It's practiced in colleges, high schools, anywhere that there's an art school, there's always critiques. In fact, when my daughter was in school, that was the one thing she hated. She didn't mind when it was other people, but she always felt uncomfortable when it was her own. You just have to buck it up, Buttercup, because it's part of art. Everybody is judging you when you put your picture out there for people to look at. Everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's got a way that they would do it. You learn that way. When people criticize my work, I learn. As long as it's critiquing, not, oh, this is awful, then it's positive, not a negative. So we never look at these pictures in a negative. We always look at it ways that can make it better. As with all my critique pictures, it's always done with the person's blessing and 99.9% a lot of excitement, because they're going to learn, they're going to hear my perspective, they're going to be put in the spotlight. We're going to make this fun for one of my subscribers and one of my comprehensive color blending students, David Wong. So here is his picture. And like all my critiques, I'm going to talk about what I loved about this picture and why I wanted to spotlight it. David worked on this for a month, and just a little bit about the picture. The book is Mythographic Color and Discovery, and the illustration artist is Joseph Cantabang. I love this book. I love Joseph Cantabang's art in general, and this book was really nice. A little bit about his paper. It's a little bit smooth, so if you get the book, you might do like David did, and he transferred the picture onto Nina 67-pound exact vellum Bristol. And that's the paper that I use too when I'm doing a coloring picture that's not something I'm going to be preserving forever, and it's more of a teaching picture, so I don't go through good books of paper. This is my everyday practice paper. It's a cardstock, so it has really nice tooth, it's smooth, and I do recommend it. He used Prismacolor pencils. He also used the Verithins. Now the Verithins are used to stop lines. They're not drawing pencils, but they make hard edges. And they usually match up with the Prismacolor so that you can't even tell it's there. So kudos to him for using it. It's a good pencil. He also used the Indra Pastel Colored Pencils, another one that I love. Derwent Drawing Pencil, Chinese white, good for him. Yes, I highly recommend that. That's one of the two white pencils that I do recommend. The other one being the Holbein Soft. I love the Derwent Drawing Pencil, the Chinese white. He used Sakura Jelly Roll pen, and that's a good pen. It's got a good reputation. And he used an acrylic marker like Posca, but he used a different brand. He also used some sticker glitter glue on the bubbles, and that may be a problem for him to change the picture in any way because he's already put the glue on the paper, so no big deal. And then for blending, he used Caran d'Ache Full Blender Bright. I've never used that before, so my mind is racing to go get some of that because I'm definitely interested in trying it. And Echo House 115 Extra Mild Citrus Thinner. I've never used the citrus thinner. I've used citrus paint remover, but not that. So that's another one that I'm interested in trying out also. And I imagine it being citrus, made from citrus, it is much better than Gamsol. So that's another one I may be trying out in the near future. So good choices. We got a lot to work with here. David's picture. I have a lot of really nice things to say about it. First of all, let's look at the pool of water on the bottom. Now, I complimented him on that, and I said it was done great. It's got depth. nebula-like, and it was great. And then he came out with, that was a happy accident. He didn't intend for it to come out, but that's okay. Happy accidents count. Smile and take them like they're the greatest compliment ever. You learn through happy accidents, and if he could duplicate that again, he's got it down packed. I think that's a beautiful nebula picture, and look how much depth it adds to the water, and how much in person I imagine that this picture is much brighter. Then he did the rocks and the water, and he declared this picture done. He's been working on it for a month. He declared this picture done, and I'm declaring it not even close. And that's okay, because if you're not close to finish, you've got a lot of ways to have a potential. So what I'm going to do now is switch down onto my desk where I printed out the picture. Remember, it's a printed picture, so it's definitely not going to have the rich tones that the original has. So if I commented that something's not done enough, his picture may have much more color saturation on it. So let's begin. So here is David's picture, and as you can see in the water, the nebula did not come out as good as David's, so you can have to kind of judge that the printed picture is not as good as the artist picture or the one that was on the computer. It's just my printer. So I'm not even going to critique the water. I already think it was excellent. What I do see in the picture is a lot of white space, and where he left it blank. And I'm going to assume that he doesn't have like an acrylic medium that's on it that would not show up in a picture. These are areas that absolutely look like they have no wax on them whatsoever. And he's got water coming down here. This is completely not done, the fish. Okay, so we have a lot of work on here. This looks like it's the tail end of another fish, which happens to be over here. And here's the fish over here. They're not finished. They're not even started. They're just there. So everything counts. When you leave a blank space on a coloring page, it hits you like a ton of bricks. Your eyes go right to it. So we're going to finish these fish up. Now, if you have some sort of white pencil on it, white is not done with a white pencil. So even if you used white on these pencils, there's missing color all over the place. Now, I do have a Fix My Picture goldfish. You have to hunt really down into my videos towards when I first started. It was years ago, but it's still one of my most popular videos. I would recommend watching that video instead of me developing the fish. My main focus here is going to be talking about this and the water. Now, you have the water coming down, and this was the same thing on the computer as it did come out on my picture. You did a lot of heavy blocking on the water coming down. Now, over here, I see you got the understanding that the water would turn the color of the rock. Okay? But it would be a distorted. It can't be the same color because water also has reflected lights. So you might have picked up some of the other colors in the area, maybe the green leaf over here, maybe just some of the other colors, the purple in here, just to bring the water to life. This became very solid, this one, where you didn't pick up the background pictures in it. You got a little bit of the leaf, but this whole thing, I thought it was, when I first saw this picture, I thought it was a fox in a cage. I really didn't put it with water because of the lack of translucency. So this can use a little bit of work, and you need the white highlights in it. You got your pen out. I don't see any white highlights, and ignoring where it would have been darker, where unfortunately Joseph and some of the other artists that have a similar style to him, and they all put the same books out with the same company, sometimes they put in those funky lines. So with you having the ability to make pictures or print pictures, you might want to take out some of these lines that are heavy and dark in the water, because Water is soft. There is no hard edges in water. It's always completely blended out. So you want to see what you can do to get rid of some of these lines. That's not your fault. That's the artist's fault, not thinking ahead of the game. So it would have come out a lot better also. Joseph put in these heavy lines on these things. This would have been a perfect picture if he didn't do that. I thought your moss around the pool was very good. It's hard to see it in 3D on my picture that I printed, but it does look very lovely in the picture that was sent to me. We're going to talk about your bubbles, and I know you took the bubbles and you used the glitter glue on the bubbles. Now, particularly this bubble right here. See how dark that bubble is? Water would transmit light through it. So the area underneath a bubble or a water spot or anything like that is usually lighter than or brighter. And you went darker. So it's really, this would be a rock. It's not really a bubble. And I realize you did put glitter glue over it. You can't change it. And here you missed one completely. So you might want to see because you're not going to be able to change these now, but you might want to see what happens when you do it over here. Make it lighter than the lightest color that's on this page and watch that bubble pop. Also, I'd like to see some highlights. You got your pen, put in a couple of white lines to give it that bubble highlight, and it will look now more like a bubble instead of like an egg or whatever it is on the paper. So you still have time to practice that one, and maybe put some of the lines on these. It would also help. I'm using the wrong marker for this, but put the highlights on those. And now let's talk about your rock face. And I know it looks the way it does in the picture that it was drawn, but rocks are never, ever flat and straight like that. They always have different colors. So you might want to take your rocks, and you wanted to make these rocks brown. So you want to put some deepened areas into it so that the rock doesn't look smooth. Kind of like the way the leaf looks that I did for you guys. It's never going to have the light in the same place because a rock is always cut. Especially these are jagged rocks. Now, when you came down, you changed the color up. That's a good thing, but I would have gone even darker. Look what happens when you really darken up the space and the top goes a little bit lighter. Then this would be, you really have to figure it out. This is a sheer wall facing drop. So this would be lighter. And of course, I'm not putting in all the details that you can with rocks, you know. But even making this two different shades with the one that's going down darker automatically gives you a 3D. Sorry, my camera's not fully on my desk. I'm set up to do another video tonight, so that's why I'm very small in space on this desk right now. Okay, your fox looks really good. Okay, I see the hair. I really can't criticize it. You went with the fur on the fox that was there in the color. I think maybe you did do some tapered strokes on there. And a tapered stroke is a stroke that you start above the page and you go up and flick so that the top part is pointed. Takes a little bit of practice. That's part of the strokes that I've taught you that you have in your arsenal. And strokes definitely are tools that you need to use. Whenever you do fur, it's always a tapered stroke. Or hair on a person. Eyebrows, eyelashes, they're all tapered strokes. So it's a good thing to practice and get down You can do a two-sided tapered stroke. They're hard to do, and I know I'm not going the direction of the fur. Always go in the direction of the fur. More over here, rock face, darkening this up. And just a little bit, or automatically you see a difference. That rock has dimension. This wasn't even done. This is left, you missed one. You missed this on it. And that's a whole sheared off area. And of course the tops are always lighter. Now we're going to talk about the water itself. Now I know you did this water and you did a damn good job in that. But let's talk about how water is. Water is never just clear. It's got different shades of the blue in it, or different shades of reflections in it. So to do it flat, and I'll show you the area over here that you did very flat, okay? You need to add in some of those subtle highlights that you would see in water. I recommend going and looking at a picture on the internet, a reference picture, that has flowing water, and you can see the dark blues, the light blues, the little bit of green, that might be a little bit of algae in it, and to use that as an inspiration picture. Doesn't have to be an exact thing that you do, but you'd be very surprised at how much better your picture is going to come out when you do have an inspiration picture there. On the leaves, so here we're going to look at the pictures. Automatically, I see this leaf shading down onto this leaf. So you're going to have a shade there. Not all leaves grow in the same manner. This is an identical leaf to this, which is an identical leaf. All these leaves should actually be different. This leaf back here is recessed. You don't want it as light friendly as this leaf. This leaf is out in the light. This leaf is down back into the picture. If you haven't done Comprehensive Color Blending 1 class, we talk about lighting. That's the whole entire class on how to make three-dimensional pictures with lighting. Shade up these pictures. Now this is behind this. This needs to be darker because it's behind this leaf. Just by adding some of those little technical details. This is in front of this one slightly, so you might want to have a shadow going like that. Now look how nice that looks. How much better. Now it looks like they were facing each other and this one shadowing that one. This leaf is on top of this leaf. So you get the point. Everything that's in the background should be a little bit darker than what's in the foreground. This way you are creating a depth situation. Where would your light be? You always see things that are up close more detailed than in the back. So in this picture, you might want to forego some of the details that are in the water over here and make it a little bit more blurry. Okay, because it's further back than the water, say, that's over here. And you got this blue, so I don't know what this is. A rock face. I would have done this probably in blue. And see where the water is coming from. Like, you did this all in the same color, but I don't know what it is. Is this a rock face or is it water? I would imagine it's water. Is it? Yeah, I would imagine it's water, and you would still go darker going down. It's water dripping from a rock face. Okay? And then at the bottom, what you can do to add froth. So you might want to add some of this. Like here, this splashing. It's coming up and it's splashing. Get in with your Posca or whatever you're using and make some of those faded splashing. See, unfortunately, the picture itself has hard lines where water is, and so that makes it a little bit harder to create a realistic, but you know what? You could do it. It's not impossible. Get in with your Posca and create it. Now this is half done water. This is a completely different color than all of this, but it doesn't match what's behind it. So that's another thing that you need to do. Let's see. The rock faces over here is completely undone. These rocks aren't even colored in. So this picture is far from done. I know you spent a month working on it, and it sometimes takes that long or longer to finish a really good picture. This picture, fortunately, has a lot of places it can go. I would have fun. If I took this picture, this is the point in time where this picture, for me, becomes fun, where you start the detail work and the finalized shading. And as a newbie, you fit into the exact category of handing this picture back to you and saying, finish it, you're not done. So, and that's going to be to practically every newbie out there. And it used to bother me when my art teacher wouldn't even look up from his newspaper. I want you to keep that in mind. He wouldn't even blink. He said, go do a picture. He'd open up his newspaper. He would stick his nose in it. And everybody that walked up to him in class and said, I'm done, he would go, you're not done. Go sit down. Keep working. And I used to think he was the laziest teacher in the entire world. He wasn't. He was the most experienced and the most experienced teacher because nobody's picture was done. You can't possibly be done with the picture in a class. You got a lot to do on this, a lot of places to go with it, and please, when you're done with it, send me the picture back, and I want to see it because the last one she did, I'm going to put up a picture of it. She fixed her picture. What a difference. Okay, so take my advice, make some changes, even if you're not comfortable with them, and just see what the difference is. And congratulations on your happy accident. That was a pretty nice happy accident. So take care, guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.